Hey, what's up? It's Marcus, and here with another video with Laura.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about a very interesting topic and something that I talked briefly about before, but it's last minute resistance. And this is something that is like a very common topic in like the pickup artist community, where they talk so much about like how to overcome last minute resistance. But I thought it'd be interesting to hear your perspective on it coming from a female, because of course like a lot of guys think like, okay, why is she putting up this resistance? Like, she's gone home with me, she's shown interest in me, but why is it that she doesn't want to have sex with me? So go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
well,
so
I think the main question I want to ask you, because that was like a not a very smooth transition,
uh-huh.
is like, I think a lot of times guys don't realize that, and this is kind of just coming from a lack of empathy, that that almost every girl goes through an experience where it's either like rape or something that's very close to it. So yeah, you can go ahead and share like maybe the female perspective on
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I guess as a girl, that resistance you talk about, it's really starts feeling really pushy because for me, already hearing about this sounds like, oh, this guy just really wants it bad.
that.
So that it starts feeling like really pushy and like that guy just like trying to like touch and hug and stuff. And most guys are not aware like if a girl wants to or not, because most girls, we don't really say if we do or not, but we're showing you with our body language. And we feel like you should already know that I don't want to have sex or anything, but I'm just being nice and I'm telling you, you know what, just no, I'm not really into it or something like that. Just really nicely, and a guy will keep pushing like, oh, come on, like I'll make you feel good, like start presenting yourself in a way, because I had a lot of times where that's happened before. So then, and you just get really tired of it, you start pushing even more, and you just like go away. So, based on your questions, why do girls do that? Is because you never really know what a girl has been through. Like you just mentioned, some of the girls, they have really traumatizing events in their life where even like feeling a man like grab their waist or something could just trigger back a lot of memories. And that is just like even more putting up even more resistance and not like really wanting to do anything. I think the best way you can actually know is just checking out the body language, checking out like making her, because usually a guy is supposed to do the first move, but start a very gentle one. Like don't go straight to like hugging or just doing something like that. Go to a gentle move and try to gain her trust first. Like really open up, even as a guy, come in emotionally a little bit, open up and say, I don't know, just anything like, oh, I feel. Use a lot of I feel, because that is like a way of communicating that it's like more kinesthetically that you're feeling something, and it's more opening up the emotion.
Yeah. So you talked about three things in particular that I used to talk about when I was coaching. Is number one, it's going to be like, at the end of the day, if you're being way too pushy and nothing is about to happen, then just let it go. Like, you can never be too attached to the outcome, because things will end badly, whether that's for you or there's a consequence because of your actions. If you're too attached to the outcome, then things are going to end badly. Number two is actually having some empathy and awareness about emotional safety. So there's essentially three types of safety. There's physical, social, and emotional. And what a girl is looking for. So first of all, physical safety is like if you're being too aggressive physically and she's kind of like afraid for either her life or for her safety physically. Social safety is more like, how are you standing in the eyes of your peers? So like your friends or your social circle. So a girl doesn't necessarily want to hook up with a guy because she's gonna be looked down upon if she hooks up with a random guy. So that's like social safety. And emotional safety is, can I trust this guy emotionally? Like, if I have sex with him, is he just taking advantage of me for the sex, or does he actually care about me? So that's emotional safety. And in that situation, you have to have some sort of emotional connection. So usually that's what it's indicating, is if there's that quote unquote last minute resistance, is just because you haven't had any sort of emotional connection, or you haven't built any of that emotional safety, which that comes through being able to like actually look in her eyes and speak from a place of authenticity and actually understanding, and just not using her for sex, but actually appreciating her as a human being, and connecting with her on that level. And that's what it takes, really, to be able to gain enough trust with someone so that, you know, sex or any sort of relationship can actually happen in that situation. And so those are the main things that came to mind when you're talking about that, especially that part about the safety and emotional safety. Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers it. And thank you once again for like your perspective on it, because I think that a lot of guys, that they have zero idea why this comes up, and they just have a lack of awareness that this is just something where a lot of girls have experienced really scary things from a female perspective. And actually, on a lighter note, this is something that I realized as well as a guy, is one time I went to a gay club in Dallas, Texas, when I was working in this gay area of like an LGBT area of Dallas, and there are some times when I just did not feel comfortable at all. And you know, there are certain guys that came up to me and were hitting on me, and they were getting a little bit physical, and I just didn't feel comfortable at all. So I'm not saying necessarily that, you know, you have to go to gay clubs to understand that. I think it actually might be a useful exercise to even do that as a guy, because then you start to understand or feel and experience what it feels like to be in that position, to not feel safe. And especially if, you know, you start to gain like that emotional awareness and empathy, because a lot of straight guys, they just have zero sort of empathy or awareness of what that's like. That being said, I could also tell that there's some gay guys that were more, I guess, like charming, or they were cool, and you could understand the difference. And it's because like one was very attached to the outcome, and the other was they were more free from the outcome, just enjoyed their time with you. So yeah, I got really in depth with the gay part of it, so I'll just leave it at that. But that's, I think, a really interesting perspective that Laura provided. So hopefully you got some value from this, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. I also wanted to
go ahead.
say
Yeah. Sorry,
that,
didn't mean to cut you off.
Once you see like the girls literally like saying no, I would just suggest to not even try pushing anyone.
Yeah.
Because it's just gonna turn out like really bad. Just like once you see like her because she can go into like a very alert state where she just like feels like really emotional. She's getting really emotional. So if you're a guy, you're seeing a girl really act like that, and just like no, and even if she's saying no, do not insist.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose there's different scenarios, because you can tell there's like a difference in tonality and a difference in vibe when, you know, maybe she's getting like really quiet and she's like physically resisting. Then that's the time to stop. But there are also times where she's being playful and she's saying like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this, but she's also just being playful, and you just have to be able to recognize the difference between the two. I would say err on the side of caution, because if things do happen badly, then the consequences are not worth it at all. It could really cost you like years, like even jail time or something like that at its worst. So definitely be careful when it comes to that. Anyway, anything else that you want to add?
No, just that.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully you got some value, and we will talk very soon. Peace.